The original Friday the 13th was made 44 years ago, released in theaters 44 years ago today. And it brought us such memorable moments. If you don't know the plot, I mean, you should by now. Basically, it really kind of cemented and kind of kicked the ass of the, slasher craze of the 80s. Like, Halloween started it, planted the seedlings, got the whole formula down, dead teenagers, all that, Spinal Girl. And Friday the 13th said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to add blood. You can keep your little, off-camera kills and just, lame, like, strangulation and slitting the throat in a car with no blood. We want the blood. We're going to cover these people in blood. That's what we're going to do. And they also introduced the plot twist, which was kind of an unfair plot twist. The story is these teenagers go to open Camp Crystal Lake, which has had problems in the past, namely that being two counselors murdered like 20 years prior. And then whenever they tried to reopen, like the water supply was poisoned, the cabins was set on fire. Why not move? Why not just say, you know what, this place isn't working. There's some weird satanic thing going on here, or somebody doesn't want to. Let's just get out. Let's make another camp somewhere else. There's plenty of wood somewhere. They couldn't do that. So then we meet these plucky young kids who are reopening the camp with the help of Mr. Christie, the one character in this movie who does not seem to belong there at all. I guess he owns the camp or something like that, and he looks like he stepped out of like a 1972 theatrical porno. Remember those theatrical pornos of Deep Throat? He looks at you with a porn stash. He's always wearing a red bandana around his neck, and nobody seems to know why. I think it's code for something, like he likes menstrual blood all over him. I have no idea. But and then we meet Alice, and she is one of the counselors, and she is in movies. She is an actress. Is she the best? No. Does she tilt her head a lot? Yes. Does she always seem to whine with everything she says? What do you mean? What's going on here? Where's Mr. Christie? I would have wanted to kill her too. That's just all I'm saying. Kevin Bacon was in this movie. That was one of his first movies. Not his first, but one of them. And he gets an arrow through the neck and all that. So the whole time we're thinking there's a guy out there killing people and everything like that at Camp Crystal Lake. So it takes place over the course of one night. The generator goes on and off. There's a thunderstorm. People hear screaming. Power goes on and off. Finally the last two, after everybody else kind of goes off and missing, goes out looking for everybody, can't find anybody. They find an axe. Keep that in mind. Find an axe in a bed with a little bit of blood on it. And Allison, the main character, main girl, final girl is who she's going to be, goes, what is going on? I just wish the guy next to her, who's I think his character's name was Steve or something like that, would have been like, the funky chicken, we're doing it tonight. Just some stupid answer. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with this axe, and I don't know what's going on with my stomach. Those tamales did not agree with me. I just diarrheaed all over myself, giving her some dumbass answer or whatever like that. What is going on? Bitch, what do you think is going on? So then they go and they look at, they're going to, try to, call somebody, because that's her bright idea, by the way. She said, I think we should call somebody. I couldn't have been in that movie. I would be like, really? Now, I think we should sit out here right in the middle of, the mud and grass and say, we're here. If you're looking to kill us, we're sitting right here. Let's finish the Monopoly game we were playing earlier right outside and wait for whoever it is to come kill us. Let's just do that. Make a phone call and get help? Well, what do you say? So they go, of course the phone line is cut. So then something wrong with the car or something, I think, and she finally has some sense, the main girl, and she's like, why don't we just hike? Just get out of here right now. Why don't we just go? And then, the guy, because it's 1980, is like, oh, you woman, thinking, like, this is not a recipe. Little lady will say, if you're good, I'll buy you a fancy hat tomorrow, all right? So, ends up the big finale, Steve goes to fix the generator. She's alone in a cabin. She's lying down. She's having nice dreams about, I don't know, heavy set girls, sitting on little German boys and farting. I think that's the dream she was having. I'm not sure. That might be in the director's cut. So finally, we see like the guy Steve, the final guy, or about to be the dead final guy, going to fix something, and then she wakes up. So we're confused whether it's a nightmare or not, because it looked like something had gotten him, or he ducks out of frame, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then her questionable acting really starts, and decision making. Let's talk about it. I mean, it's a 44-year-old movie, so I got to forgive a lot of it, but I got to talk about it. She wakes up. I think the lights are working at that point or not. No, they're still not working, I don't think. No, they're not. And she lights a lantern, and she decides the first thing she's going to do, even though that guy went off, never came back, everybody's still missing, they found a bloody axe, she's going to make some instant coffee. Because damn it, at least she's going to enjoy some Folgers with this nightmare. That's just how it's going to be. So they just had this long scene. I mean, to me, it felt forever. Like of her just going, get a little mug, unscrewing the instant coffee, putting it in, put a little kettle, kind of just wringing her hands, and again, looking confused, which she does throughout the entire movie. And then she finally decides to go looking for the guy who's supposed to fix the generator, or her wannabe boyfriend, or whoever he is. So she goes out there. She finds him, of course. She finds his poncho. And then she shuts the door to the place because she's like, damn, he's not here. Yeah, he is, bitch. He's right behind you. And he is pinned to the door by multiple arrows. So she starts screaming to let everybody knows where she is, of course. She continues to scream through her whole run into the darkness. Again, to, help the killer out, being like, she might have well just shouted, I'm here now, going towards the cabin, I'm here. Shut the fuck up, shut up. If I was with her, I would have slapped her, I would have knocked her out. So she gets to the cabin, she throws a rope over like a rafter, and she's like tying it half-assed around the door. She's throwing magazines in front of the door. I think she threw mashed potatoes at it. I don't know, she's doing stupid shit to fucking cover it up. And this is my own main problem with the Friday the 13th movie is the finale, the reveal and finale. Finally, she's doing all that. And then my favorite, she grabs as a weapon, which is good. She grabs a bat, but she shoves it all the way under her arm, so the bat just a little bit sticking out. So she got a bat like this, and she's got like a steak fork like this. So she's like, "What are you gonna do? You gonna like move quickly to the left to kind of sort of hit somebody with your half bat sticking out here while you like poke them with a stake? What the fuck's wrong with you, woman?" So then she closes all the blinds because that's gonna, that'll make the killer go away. Nobody's home, so we gotta go. And then her friend gets thrown through the window, another girl who went missing, and she decides to crawl around her, and she runs out. She sees a truck. She's like, oh, great. She gets out there, and then Betsy Palmer comes out as a strange woman, and she's like, who are you? I was like, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, an old friend of the Christies. She's the killer. She's the killer. And why would you trust the bitch smiling like that? I mean, those dentures were awesome, by the way. Don't get me wrong. She had a great tooth job there. But I mean, Jesus Christ. And right away, the girl just hears that one sentence and she's like, okay, cool. And runs into her arms and cries like, oh, calm down, man. I can't understand you. What was that accent that woman was using? Mrs. Voorhees, I can't understand you unless you tell me. Calm down. It's the storm. It's just this place. That's why you're upset. She would have told me that shit, if I was somebody running to her for help, God forbid, I wouldn't have ran anyway. I would have seen the creepy smile and laughed. If I would have got to her and she said, it's just the storm, I'd be like, yeah, bitch, okay, it's just the storm. The storm scared me. The storm scared me so bad, it turned out all the lights and pinned my friend, pinned one of my coworkers or whatever, to a door with multiple arrows and threw a bitch through the window just here. No, it's not the storm. The storm didn't do any of that. Get him here. Just get in the car. We'll talk. I'll tell you everything in the car. That's all you had to do. So then she's like, no, they're all dead. They're all dead. She's like, okay, I'll go look. Hint number 2. Why? Why does she need to go look? Why are you agreeing with her? She's like, oh no, don't go in there and look. He'll kill you too. My favorite line of the whole movie. I'm not afraid. I mean, doing these kinds of faces, and I'm like, girl, when are you going to catch on? She's a killer. She's going to murder you. We just don't know why yet. So slowly we start to realize that's the twist. It's a female killer, which I think if you're going to do a twist or reveal a killer, she should have been put in somewhere in the movie. There's a scene where they're like the lead guy, Mr. Christie or whatever, he stops at a diner someplace. There was a waitress in there. She could have been the waitress there. It's like they just kind of threw her out of nowhere, which I really didn't like. And I'm like, okay, she's a female killer, but she's 75. What are we doing? I mean, she doesn't look like a small lady. She looks kind of sturdy, but I'm like, what are we talking about? So, eventually she goes in there, she looks at the dead body. She's like, oh, God, how could this happen? She was so pretty. It's this place. I told Steve he should have never opened this place again. There's been too much trouble here. Did you know that a young boy drowned? I was working the day that it happened, preparing meals. I was the cook. He was drowned, swimming. He should have been watched every minute. But the counselors, they were off making love while that young boy drowned. His name was Jason. Today's his birthday. He's my son. And then the girl starts backing up. It's like, where's Mr. Christie? Where do you think? Where's he? He's in the van. Go. He said, where do you? This bitch just basically told you that was her son that drowned, that the counselors weren't paying attention. Counselors are dead. Time to run with your mushroom haircut. So finally, it takes the woman to go pull out a knife and go, what the hell did she say? Yeah, she's like, you let him drown. You never paid any attention. Like now she's thinking she's the reason for everything. So she goes at, Mushroom Head Alice, like with the knife. Ah! I love the noises she made during the movie. So finally, Dum Dum gets a fire poker, hits her, gets the knife away from her, and hits her again across the back. Does she keep hitting her? No. Why would she do that? That would be too easy. She runs to the Jeep. There's a dead body in the driver's side of was it driver's passenger? It was a passenger side of the Jeep. So naturally, she can't drive. Get the fuck out. I would have thrown that bitch out of there so fast, it wouldn't have even been funny. I would have kicked a dead body or not. I would have been like, oh, that's creepy. Get the fuck out, bitch. I gotta get out of here. Grandma's gone nuts over here, and I don't know what's wrong with her. She's running on crazy grandma adrenaline strength. And so she comes on, she goes running into the darkness. There's a big whole long chase scene. The part that I had the biggest problem with was she finally gets in this one cabin. The crazy old bitch, Jason's mom, goes and turns the lights back on, and then she finds Alice, our protagonist, I guess, and she opens the door to the shed where she is. Now, meanwhile, the hero of the movie, Alice, Mushroom Head is what I'll call her, has been trying to open a drawer with bullets in it for, I guess, they shot guns and shotguns at camp and shit like that. And she's doing so by just not hitting the lock, but hitting the drawer like that. And whining the whole time. So finally, this woman opens the door she's Superman or something. And she just looks at her. She's like, and she's taking on her boy's voice by this time. She's like, kill her, mommy. Kill her. Kill her. This bitch held the gun at her like she's going to do it. She could have at least faked it. She didn't even swing this fucking gun at her. I think she had dropped the gun. She picked up what looked like a nail file and threw it at the bitch. Okay, now you deserve to die. The grandma's coming closer with I don't even think she had a knife at that point. No, I don't think she did. And grandma's coming closer and closer, and she's like, she starts she threw a ball of yarn. She picked up a ball of yarn. Did you think that was going to do it? That the ball of yarn was going to hit grandma in the head and go, wrap around her. Like, I'm confused. What the fuck? And then proceeds to just make a sad face, lean up against the wall, let grandma, I'm telling you, Mrs. Voorhees grabs her and bitch slaps her, pimp slaps the hell out of her about 20,000 times, puts her in a chair, pimp slaps the shit out of her again, throws her on a table. Honey, you are 28 years old. You look fairly, nubile. Pull hair, kick, something. No. But she does, finally manage to take I don't know, the fire poker or whatever. Where did that come from anyway? Who had that? Maybe it was Mrs. Voorhees, I forget. And she takes a fire poker and she hits her in the pussy. I swear she hits her right in the pussy. Boom. And she goes, oh, Nana's pussy. And so she runs out and she runs back to the same cabin for some reason, which I'll never get. Fine, okay, go there, have fun. And she decides to go hide in the closet because that's going to work. She'll never find you in a closet. She wouldn't even look there. I could tell you 20,000 other places to hide. Okay. So she's in the closet, and sure enough, Mrs. Voorhees comes in, chops the door down, and now she's got a machete she got from somewhere. And Dum Dum gets a frying pan. And, okay, not a bad weapon. So Mrs. Voorhees goes at her, swings the machete, she takes the pan, and she bonks her on the head. And Grandma goes, and then she makes another noise, Mrs. Voorhees. She keeps making these weird noises through the films. When she gets hit in the head with the pan, she literally goes, ow! Ow! And falls on the ground. And she didn't start to hit her over and over again, which really confused me. I remember even as a kid, before like modern Scream and shit pointed out, I remember thinking, smash her face in a ground beef, woman. What are you doing? Obviously, you can't beat her up. Yarn isn't working. Maybe get some toothpicks in the kitchen or something like that and just kind of toss them at her. I don't know. Give her a wet willy. Maybe that'll work. So then she kicks her over. She sees she's bleeding from her head just a little bit. So she's like, well, of course she's dead. So she decides to go sit on the beach, which one would after a mass murder and after you've not killed the killer. And, of course, Mrs. Voorhees comes by her. They have the funniest cat fight ever. There's biting. There's hair pulling. She is whooping this girl's ass up and down the... I wish they would have made that a lengthier cut. I wish she just would have, dragged Mushroom Head across the dock, punched her in the face a few times, did like a WWE backflip, flipped her over and stuff like that, put her in a chokehold, gave her a noogie, stuff like that. It was that ridiculous. I mean, she slams her head in the sand and she's beating. This girl's the wimpiest chick, wimpiest final girl ever. So finally, she bites her or something like that, and the machete drops, and Dumb Mushroom Hair goes and gets the machete. And in slow motion, she runs, and Mrs. Voorhees goes, literally does that. It's the funniest thing ever. And then the bitch swings once and chops her head off. Let me get this straight. You were not strong enough to stop Grandma from bitch slapping you over and over and over, but you have enough strength in you to behead a woman with a machete with one whack. We'll go for it. And then the ending that is very, very famous. You think everything's okay. Because they had done a lot of jump scares in horror up to that point. At the end especially. Halloween, didn't have a jump scare at the end. Well, I mean at the very end. Carrie did. Carrie had a really good moment everybody talked about. Where, Survivor Carrie is visiting Carrie's grave. And it's a dream. But you think everything's fine. Carrie's hand shoots out from grave. Grabs this woman's arm. Okay, fine. So our moment is she's in a nice canoe. She decides to go to a canoe. She's going to canoe away from all this and just forget about it forever. So she drifts off. It's a lovely crystal sunset. It's the morning time. She wakes up in the canoe. The police are finally there because they figured out something's wrong. They're like, well, I think I heard some crazy old lady yelling last night. Neighbors were calling. Yeah, we kept hearing, ah, ow, yeah, you little bitch. So she wakes up. She kind of, and you think it's going to be this typical, peaceful ending and credits are going to start to roll. And Jason shows his ass up. And when you see that in the theater or you don't know it's coming, I saw the film when I was 12 years old with a bunch of other people a sleepover. And we all freaking jumped. I never jumped so hard in my life. I don't think I have since. And this was on the TV, like an 80s TV. It wasn't that big. Just get the fuck out of me. And I remember Steve, whenever I asked him what his favorite horror movie is, he goes Friday the 13th. Why? He's like, I jumped so high. He goes, the entire row. You don't even understand, because he saw it in the theaters. He was, lucky enough to, old enough to. But he said the whole row. He said I jumped, I jumped out of the whole row jumped because we didn't expect that shit. And then at the very end, the girl's in the hospital, and they're like, so we heard an old lady beat you up, pussy, and your friends are all dead. And we think you did it, actually. There's no way Grandma could have done it. Nah, they're talking to her. And she's like, And the boy, because we see Jason and he pulls her out of the canoe or whatever, like that. So she's like, she's asking the officer, are they all dead? Yes, ma'am. What about the boy? Jason, the one who attacked me, the one who pulled me under. And the fucking sheriff looks at the doctor, and the doctor's like, I don't know, maybe it's the Valium I gave her. The nurse looks at her like, you dumb bitch, wimpy bitch. She got bitch slapped by a 75-year-old lady. She was gossiping with the other nurses. And then she just kind of glares into the camera, and you see a final frame of the lake. And then at the very, very end, just 5 dildos just float up out of the lake for no apparent reason. Nobody knows why. But the movie was a great movie. It spawned Jason. There is a sequel almost every year in the 80s. I'm very sad to see that it is not these two, the writer and the director of the original movie, can't sit the frick down and throw money at each other. I'm sorry, people bitch about Blumhouse and Jason Blum all the time. He's brought back movies, not to varying degrees of success, but that's up to the director. Halloween's were a hit. Exorcist sucked, but he's thinking of bringing Mike Flanagan on for the new Exorcist who did Dr. Sleep. Excellent choice. I would see that in a second. I don't understand why a big pile of money can't be thrown at each one of them. Blum wasted $450 million for the Exorcist, right? I'm sure there's a lot more money there still. Give each of them $100 million. Say, just shut the hell up. You two old men were never going to start bickering so we can get Jason back on this big screen again. Because just, the nostalgic part of me would like to see it. And you know what? Rest in peace, of course, to Betsy Palmer. I'm going to play Mrs. Voorhees, became an icon. And so happy 44th anniversary, Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was going to go this long and do a little review. Hope it didn't piss you guys off. But then again, if it does, I'm sorry. I have to go get a ball of yarn because there might be an intruder in my neighborhood.